making it easy for your customers, your clients, your vendors, your industry, your employees, and everybody else to stay up to date on what your business is doing is key to success, right? We all know that. We're going to talk about why RSS feeds can be a game changer for you and your business with exactly that goal in mind. Sound good? Here we go. Okay, I can already hear some of you out there saying, RSS feeds, that was like 1,000 years ago. Yes, but that doesn't make it useless, okay? Living indoors happened 1,000 years ago, more so. It's also a good thing. So that's kind of the point here, is that there's a lot of people that think that it's because it's not the shiny new object, they don't pay any attention to it. I'm going to get you to understand why you need to change your thinking on that and why that'll actually put you ahead of the curve. That's always a good thing, right? Okay, so we will start off with the basics, which is, what the heck are we talking about? Because some of you may have never heard this phrase before, and that's okay. Nothing to worry about, no stress. So an RSS feed, RSS is just one more, string of letters that gets tossed around in technology. We like them, what can I tell you? But all it stands for, are you ready for this? It's a real brain scratcher, right? Really simple syndication. That's it, RSS. Could not be easier. What it really means is it is a standardized way to simplify your content distribution. Okay, it's a standard format. Pretty much anybody can read it. It's got a lot of uses. There's a lot of tools out there. It just makes your life easier. And we're all a fan of easier, right? So one of the things that you're going to want to do with this is look at this as a way to make it easy for you and for everybody else, right? Your employees, your clients, your customers, your industry, your vendors, whoever it is that you're trying to communicate your message to. It's a real easy way for everybody to stay up to date on, news, blogs, websites, social media content. A lot of people don't realize that. You can actually use it to stay on top of your social media content instead of going to all the places. One-stop shopping, gotta love it. You have probably seen the indicator for it in various and sundry places. Hang on, I will show you what that looks like. Yep, here we go. Images. So you've probably seen this, but you may not have known what it was or why it was showing up in places. But if you've seen anything that looks like this, that was an indication that there was an RSS feed available for you. It's evolved over time, but any one of these is basically what we're talking about, and that's why you shouldn't use this icon for other things, because it actually has a very specific meaning and purpose behind it. Okay, and well, actually, I should have stayed there, because if you start talking to people about this, and some of you out there are probably already saying, "Oh, this is old news. That was then. This is now." Don't throw away things that work just because they're not the shiny new object. And just to prove my point, okay, these are out there, they are being used, and I copied the wrong logo, or the wrong URL. Oopsie. Let me get the right URL for you. Okay, so just in case you're thinking, yeah, nobody does that anymore, let me show you, okay? CNN, a fairly big organization. I think you'd agree with me on that. This is just one example, right? So they're out there, they're being used, and you can too. And it doesn't have to be a big hairy deal. So stick with me. I'm going to take you through all of that. You can be super geeky about this if you want to, but you don't have to. All right, let's keep going. So yes, okay, as I just showed you, they are still being used. They are available. They are out there in the universe. A lot of people are like, well, nope, they've been replaced by, email subscriptions, by all of the social platforms, right? Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and Pinterest and all the places. What's the one now? TikTok, right? Clubhouse, all of the things. Maybe not Clubhouse so much because that's just audio, but everybody's like, oh, no, I just put my stuff there and everybody will find it. Okay, let's talk about that, right? How many email lists are you on that you never have opened? Or maybe you opened it first time, right? Or maybe once in a blue moon you open it, but You're not opening them every single time, right? You probably have 10 million emails waiting for you, and you know you're not going to get through all of them. You're only going to look for the mission critical ones or the ones from family. You're not going to open them up every single time. You're not reading it word for word, right? You're not clicking on all the links. You're just not. It's the numbers are out there. You can go, you can look at the studies. Yes, everybody opens their email. Yes, email is important. If you're using that solely as your way, your method of communication, people are not getting your message. That's just how it is. Social media, right? You go, when we've talked about, using tools to spread your message across all the social media, and I'm not saying you don't do this because of this, like everything else, right? You want to be strategically placing your content in a few places to increase the odds that people will see it. Okay, we all know all the socials are just, it's a tsunami of content, right? And the odds of your piece being the one that, first of all, even gets put in front of somebody, and second of all, is the thing that they don't scroll past, is small, right? If you go and you take an honest look at your analytics for your social media platform, I think you're going to be disappointed. I think we all are, right? Again, does not mean that you don't go there. Of course you go there. But this is another way for you to get your message out there in a fashion that will make it much more likely that people are going to look at it, read it, because you've taken away a lot of the friction. And we'll talk about more of that in a second. So the big lie that's out there, okay, is that social media took over from RSS because they were simply better feeds. Okay, well, we just talked about that, right? Yeah, they're great. And, if you happen to catch the eyeballs while they're there and, you're not lost in all of the signal to noise ratio, fabulous, and that you do want to be there, but they have not taken over from RSS. RSS just, it doesn't have a marketing campaign behind it because it is a standard, right? It's almost like saying, well, HTML is useless because it's been around for a long time. No, it's great. People may not realize all the things it can do now because, again, it doesn't have a big marketing engine, but that doesn't mean that it's not useful, and it certainly doesn't mean that it's not still growing. So this is all the stuff that had to get out of the way, first of all, so that you knew that this is something that is worthwhile, but it is just, again, one more piece in your arsenal of getting your message out there. For those of you who are wandered in here because you wanted this information or you're curious about RSS feeds, but you have no idea who I am, my name is Kathleen. I'm here as your tech coach. Short version of my story is I do technology as my day gig. It's also my hobby because I just love it. So I stay on top of it just because I'm interested in it. Because of that, I'm the person in my world, family, friends, neighbors, and now their family, friends, and neighbors come to when they have a question, when they're looking for a solution, when they're struggling with technology. Not everybody has somebody like me, so I do this show every Thursday at 8 p.m. Feel free to reach out at any time. If you have a question or a topic you want me to cover, hit the website, there it is, and let me know. And I'm more than happy to either turn it into a show or answer you directly. It's just, if you need a direct answer, please, please, please let me know that and give me a way to reach out to you. Okay? Let's keep going. We got some stuff to talk about here. All right. So, how are you going to use RSS for your business? First of all, you should be using it for yourself. So let me show you, because maybe you've never seen, again, that there's no embarrassment in that. Let me show you what my favorite one is and how much stuff I have in it. Sorry, wrong browser. I know, first world problem. Hang on, let me bring up the right browser. So the thing that I love about it is I don't have to remember to go to all the places to see if there's updated content. Frankly, I don't have that kind of time. Here, this one. Yes, this one. I literally was just in here. Why? I guess, whatever. Okay. So that's the benefit for me and frankly for you and for your people. You have people, you have websites that you count on, right, as great resources for information or a way to stay on top of your industry or even just entertain yourself. There's nothing wrong with that either. But you have to remember to go there. And over time, you're going to forget, or, you're going to go there, you're not going to see anything new, or you're not going to be able to tell if anything's new, and so you're going to kind of fall behind, or you're going to stop going there. This solves that problem because an RSS feed always shows you the newest content since the last time you've looked. Massive time saver, right? Great way to stay on top of things without that manual effort of 8,000 bookmarks that you have to go to, or remembering and typing it in yourself and then having to poke around and see if there's anything new. The RSS feed will do that for you. So I'm going to show you. Let's see. Oh, we don't want to go there yet. That's demo stuff. All right, so we'll just show you this one. So this is just a random part that I have open here. I won't kid you, a metric ton. And I am getting to the point where I need to go through and prune it again. But so for news, okay, this is showing me all of this stuff, right? And you can see here it says, 9 minutes ago, 11 minutes ago. So I can see right away, what's the freshest content, what's going on, what might I have missed. I've got stuff on accessibility because that's something I'm interested in. I can open up this, and I created these categories, right? So this is organized in a way that makes sense to my brain. It may not make sense to your brain, but that's okay. You would make your own. And this is called Feedly. It's free, and we'll get into a little more details about that later. So there's that. I've got the ones that I like to read often. Clearly, I haven't been in here reading it like I should. But it shows me right away, okay, here, whoops, where's Rito? So this, all the ones that I like. Obviously, I'm behind on Lifehacker, mainly because they churn out a ton of content. This one shows me, okay, there's 2 things here on the official Squarespace one. My tech ones, here's all the stuff. And you can see the numbers right here, and that's letting me know where is their new content, and let me go and check it out. Let's see what 9 to 5 Google's up to. Is anything going on? 4 hours. Okay, so there's no... This is one of the ways I stay on top of when there's problems. Because if there was an issue out in Android world, I would see headlines that said that. So just as an example here, so this came out 4 hours ago. So this is showing me the title. I can this in this case it's all from one site. Sometimes it's a collection that you get. It's showing me over here that it's 4 hours old, and then you can click on it. Oops, come on, clicky. Okay, and you can read it right in here. Okay, get the summary, get the overview, and then you can click through to go to the site. So that's another hang-up. Come back here. That's another hang-up a lot of people have about RSS feeds is, well, then I won't get the clicks. Well, that's up to you. It depends on how you set things up. If you set it up so that they are getting the feed off of something that has that summary and then the view more, like you would do like on some of the blog engines, give you an option, then they would come see you. If not, you're still going to get the visit. It's just you're not going to get the time spent on site analytic from it. So it's just a choice how you want to do this for your audience, what would work for them. But the point is, I don't have to remember, like for my tech things, I don't have to remember to go to a dozen places. I come in here, I open up that folder, and it shows me everything that's going on, and I can, then cherry pick the things that look interesting to me, or I can just go to the top and say, okay, clear all these out, I'm good, and then it'll be ready for the next time. Or I can just leave it, and they'll keep piling up. Whatever I choose to do, I have the control. So that is hands down the thing I love about all of these, because it gives me the control. It makes it easy for me to find my stuff, and I always know that there's new content, right? I'm not wasting time going to a site that hasn't updated their content in 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. Okay, and we all know, we've all been guilty, me too, of not being up to date with stuff, and so this, makes it easy for people to do stuff. So as you see, right, it's super easy. You just go in, you can create a free account. Like I said, this is Feedly is the one that I'm looking at. Let me bring this up for you again. So this is Feedly, it's just feedly.com. Normally, I would tell you a couple of different tools, but this is the one I recommend to everybody. Feedly for me is it. Feedly is the RSS reader, and I've been using this for quite a while now. It's super simple. You can set it up. You can stick with the free account. That's where I'm at. Or you can get a paid account if you want to. See, they do have a little upgrade option here. So you can go ahead and do, certain amount a month. You get extra perks for it. I've never ever felt like I've missed out on anything, so I have not. Now, does that mean I won't ever? No, I mean, at some point I might. I do like to support, I like to support our developers, but it's just the kind of thing that It works. It makes it really easy to stay up to date, and that's why I think it's incredibly important for all of us to make sure that at least some of our content is available by RSS feed. Now, understand, again, yes, for most people are going to think about this in terms of a website, but, and we'll get into a little more detail in a bit, but this is also the kind of thing that you can do for your YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, all of the things. You can create RSS feeds. You can make them available however you want. You can do it on your socials. You can do it on your website. You can do it on the different platforms to let people know that it's there. And by encouraging people to use that, you're encouraging them to stay up to date on your content. And you're giving them a nice, easy way to do it. You may have to do some education for people who are not familiar with it. But again, it is the kind of thing that browser, devices, mobile devices, however you want to do it, you can go ahead and do it. You use it, you can organize, you can search, you can share from here. Super easy. You can share even your feed. So you can share individual pieces of content from Feedly or any other RSS reader. You can also share feeds. So let's say you want your employees to stay up to date on a certain grouping of either social or websites or whatever, wherever it is that you want them to stay up to date. You can actually share the different feeds that you build with them so that you know that they've got easy access to it. You don't have to email it, make sure they did. You just give it to them, and you know how it is, right? Humans are not a fan of anything that involves any friction, right? Any reason to not do something, that's where we are. If you remove that friction, right? If you remove the friction of your clients, your customers, your industry, your vendors, whoever, having to remember to visit your site and go in and find it, or boom, they can just go into their reader and find it right away and click right on it. Which path do you think is going to be more successful? Right? It's easy. We know. The easiest path is always going to be the one people pick. That's how humans work. So like I said, the basic version of this is free. You can also, just bring this back up again, because I'm going to show you how to do things. But you can also go with the paid version like I showed you. The big win for this, and the reason why I'm not hesitating, to recommend it, and why I'm not, and by the way, not sponsored, okay? They don't know me from a hole in the wall. I'm just telling you again about another tool that I really like. But it works on the browser. There's an iOS app and there's an Android app. So you can do this wherever you want. Let me just move this over a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to show you real quick. So, today is all the new stuff that's come in, right? And you can get the little summary view. You can change this. You can make it titles only, however you prefer to see things. Okay, if you like a card view, we've got that. You can see the whole articles, and scroll through that way. Mine is pretty much up to date because I've been in here all day because we were going to talk about this. Most of the time I go with the titles only, but that's me. And it'll present it broken up. How, you've got a lot of control here on how you do things. This is the big win, okay? So to add a new source, you're going to come over here and you're going to click on this, and you're going to either put in the RSS feed link from a site, or you can just go to a site and put that in here. So let's see, if we just do, actually I might already have this one in here. So if I type in CNN, it's going to show me the CNN feed, and then I just would click this to add it, and then I could select where I want to put it. So, right, so for me, logically, I would put this under news and say add. Now you could put it in multiple places. If you wanted that feed in a couple of different folders, you could do that too. So maybe you wanted, one for you and you were building one out for your employees or your family, your friends, then you could also put it there. So you don't have to feel like you're limited and have to remember every time. If you feel like, oh, it would be good here and here, that's fine. Nobody's judging. You can go ahead and do that. All right. So that's basically what I'm talking about as far as how it can help you and you running your business. In that it just makes it really easy for you to stay up to date on the information that you want to stay up to date on without having to remember all the places to go. And I'll show you in a minute, but just as a reminder, you can do this for your socials too. It's not limited to websites. All right. While we're chatting, if you would like to stay on top of when I am sending out new shows, what's coming down the pike, and all that, you can sign up for the mailing list. There we go, right over here. I'll get used to this one. As soon as I get used to doing it this way, I'll swap everything and it'll move. But you can go to the mailing list, yourtechcoach.net/mailing list. I know I just said nobody opens emails. Hopefully you're open-minded about the show, because I don't send out a ton of emails. I send out very targeted emails. Mostly it's about the upcoming show. Once in a while I'll reach out with something else, but it's very minimal. It's just another way for you to remember what's coming and to check out the title in case, maybe you're torn, you've got two things you need to do that time. I know you want to come here. You can always catch the replay, but we love having you here live. All right. Whoops. Okay, well, that doesn't hurt either. Yes, go ahead. Do that thing too. All right, let's move on. Oh, this is the big thing, right? Oh, really? And my stylus stopped working again, because this is where I'm really going to need it. So yes, this is where it should go. Welcome. We're going to have a little chat soon. All right. So using it for your business. The core of an RSS feed is something called XML. It's the XML structure to deliver the data. To format and deliver the data, really. You can do this manually if you'd like. I've done it just because, I'm geeky and I like to do these things. However, don't panic. You don't have to do it that way. And I'm going to explain to you a couple of different ways to do this. But please, please, please don't freak out, because most of the content management systems out there, okay, including things like WordPress and Squarespace and all those kind of things, will generate the RSS for you for certain templates, okay? For ones that don't, I'm going to show you a couple of other options, all right? And I'll put all the links in the description so that you can catch those easily, all right? So let's start off first with things like your website, right? If you are hand coding your site, right, or if you have somebody hand coding it, then you're going to need somebody who can either generate the XML feed for the readers themselves, or you're going to use a third-party tool, which I will show you in a minute. Most of us are using some sort of content system, right? I'm using Squarespace. Everybody, is something different. If you're using anything fairly well known, it's going to have some part of it, some template, some plugin, something that will generate the RSS for you. This makes life wonderfully easy, because all you have to do is create your content and the rest is handled for you. Don't we love that? I know I do. So the trick for most of the content systems is to pick a blog template. Now, this does not mean you have to start a blog. You can use blog templates for other things. For example, you can use it for a blog. You could use it for news updates, right? So, a lot of corporations have that part of the website, where they've got their press releases, news, that kind of stuff. You can do that. With the formatting that they'll allow you to do, you can make it look less bloggish, right? You don't have to turn on comments. You don't have to put on, the likes and the hearts and all that kind of stuff. You can turn all that kind of stuff off and just make it a way to generate the RSS feed when you're putting your content out there. The other nice thing about using those kinds of templates is that they usually offer you the two, right? So you usually get the one that lets you offer the synopsis, which is a great one to share as your RSS feed, because then you get that title, picture, summary, right? Summary can either be a custom summary you write or the first couple of paragraphs, and the read more, which will bring them to your site from the reader, or you can actually have them deep link to the actual content. However you want to do that is fine. You can do it for each one. It'll be available by default for both of them, because it's a part of those engines. Now, it won't work for things like a traditional homepage in general. Sometimes some of the content platforms make it available for everything. So you're going to have to check with your platform. Like, for example, and I'll show you in a second, I know that Squarespace doesn't do it for every single page type, but they do it for the blogs and those kinds of things. So, hey, Laura, how you doing? So that makes it very, very easy. Matter of fact, I'll just show you that right now. So if we go to, let me bring it up. And let me get that out of your way. So, oh, sorry. You know what? That was dumb. I should probably log in first. That's probably a good idea. So I'm going to go to my Squarespace. Okay. Don't know why you felt the need to open that in a new tab, but that's okay. Now, I'm not really hiding anything all that interesting. It's just that I have client sites on here too, and I don't like to do that for them or to them, because they may not want to be a part of the show, although I don't understand that. Okay, so this is the basic layout for Squarespace. And, I've got a couple of, different kind of pages, but down here I've got my blog, and you can go in and you can do all kinds of customization here. But remember, it doesn't have to be a blog. And this is the part here, right? So this is the feeds. You can do, like, if you've got a podcast, you can do a special template for the podcast. Or if you want to do it specially to Apple News. If you want to replace their default with a custom one that you've created or somebody's created for you, you can do all of that. So you're not really limited when you do this kind of thing. And so, I've got the blog, but I use the blog layout for things other than the blog sometimes. But just as an example, so if you were visiting me, right, and you went to the site and you said, okay, I want to try to add this. Now, this is my home page. Okay, there's the form I was talking about. Oops, sorry. See, this is why I don't like having to switch to the mouse. This mouse, first of all, it's loud. It's actually louder than my keyboard. Come on. Okay, so there's my form. So let's say you were using Feedly, right? And you're like, okay, I want to add this. So if I just put this in, it doesn't really find anything. It's trying to guess what I might want, but it's not really finding it. But if I go to the blog and I put that URL in, now notice I didn't have to put the RSS feed link here. I didn't have to tell anybody anything. All I'm having to do is go here and copy this and put it in and hit return, and then it finds it and it says, oh, okay, well, this is what's in there. Here's what's going on, and then somebody could just add it. So it's not hard. It's not the kind of thing that you have to do a lot of education with your audience about, but if you wanted to, you can. And then I could take that blog template and use it for press releases. I could do it for new product information. I mean, really, you can do anything. Just because it says blog on the page type, it doesn't mean that you're restricted to only using it as a blog. You could do whatever you want with it. There are people who do their entire site with that type of template. There are people who do one-page websites that have that template because that way it shows up in people's feeds. So it makes it very easy. Now, if you already have a hand-coded site, or if you don't want to get into all this kind of stuff, or if you want to share with your audience other things like maybe, let's say Twitter, then you can go to places like, come on, give me my cursor back, thank you. I really have to find out why that driver keeps dying. Then, and I'm sure this is something you've heard before, you can go to something like Zapier. And Zapier has pre-made recipes for you to create RSS feeds. So let me talk about what the process would be here. So you would go to Zapier, right? Or some of the others I'm going to tell you about here. And you could go in and say, okay, I want to create an RSS feed for my Twitter account, right? For all the things that I post. So you're going to go in here, you're going to use the recipe. Now, I know, Zapier used to be more free, and now you've got to pay for it a little bit more. I love Zapier. There is so much power in the pre-made recipes. You don't even have to know how to do it. We can do a whole nother show about this, and let me know if you want to. But, again, throwing a couple of bucks at the developers to have them keep doing things is not necessarily the end of the world. It's actually a good thing. So, you get a couple of free, so you do have a choice here. But anyway, you would go ahead, you would create it, let the recipe create the RSS feed for you, and then you could share that. How would you share that? You would share that in emails, on your blog posts, on your social media posts, on your business card, where in all the places where you would want to communicate with your audience, you could put this and say to them, hey, if you want to stay on top of my tweets, but you don't necessarily know how to go in and create a list, or you don't get a chance to go in and visit a whole lot, hey, I've got it set up so that you can actually stay up to date on my tweets in your favorite RSS feed, and here's the link to use. When you do that and make it as simple as a copy and a paste, you are much more likely to get their eyeballs when they go in and they're checking this kind of stuff out. And that's like my main source of research and content, like when I'm out and about, because it's so easy. I have it on my phone. I've got the app on my phone, and I can jump in and I can spend 2 minutes looking at it. Or if I'm waiting for somebody else, I can spend a half hour because many people in my world are always late. But I put the time to good use, so it's a good thing. Or if I'm having trouble falling asleep, I pull out my phone and I do that. And yeah, we can talk about why that's not a good idea. Just in case you think that the platforms are anti this, now I will say, for some reason, okay, once upon a time, you could just get your RSS feed right from Twitter. I don't know why they dropped it, but they did. But just to make a point, Pinterest has got a very nice piece of information about how to get and share your RSS feed from Pinterest. And I'm not going to go through all of these, in great detail. I will put the links in the description. But Facebook also has, for your instant articles, how you would share that. So all that kind of good stuff. Just to show you, you can actually do this from YouTube. So here, actually, I'll take you through it. So my favorite people in the world, especially in the live streaming world, is live streaming pros. So what I did, did that backwards. YouTube, see, it comes up because I'm there so often. So I go in here. Yeah, I know that. I come into their videos tab. Now you can do it from the home, but I find it works better for me for YouTube people that I want to follow to do it from their videos because that's where all their videos are. And then I come here and I say all videos because I want their uploaded content, their recorded content, and their lives. You may not. It's up to you. But once you've made this decision and you've got this set up the way you want it, you just come up here, copy it, go in here, paste it, and it says, oh, okay, cool. You want to follow them? Well, okay, this is what we think you want, and here's an example of the kind of content you're going to see, and then you like it, and then you just do this again. You just say follow, and you can put it into a folder or not. That's up to you. So you don't have to worry about getting into trouble with any of the platforms. They're okay with it. Look, it's in their best interest too, because one way or another, you're sharing them as well as your content, right? Because that's where you're sending the people. So this is the kind of thing that everybody's okay with, and it's a huge benefit to the people you're trying to reach because you're making it so easy for them to see your stuff and to stay up to date with it. And that is going to make them happy. And that's also going to foster, which is something we talk about here a lot, that's going to foster the goodwill that you're looking for, right? You want people to think well of you. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. You want people to think good of you, right, and your business. And every time you do a little nice thing for them, right, you make them smile, you give them a piece of helpful information, all of that goes into the goodwill bank, right? And that way, when they need your goods, your services, whatever, you're more likely to pop up in their memory because of the good and positive experiences that you've been building up with them. And this is just one more way to do it. This is one more way to make their lives easier while making sure that they're getting your valuable content, because we work hard on our content, right? This kind of thing, like doing a show or writing a blog post or even doing your social media, it takes thought, it takes planning. You try to craft it, you try to make it worth people's time, you try to give them value. So here's another chance to do that and make it easy for them to stay up to date with all the stuff. So I just wanted to get that out there. I just keep running into too many people that are not using it, and I do think that they're missing out. I do think that this is an opportunity to stand out a little bit more, and because so many people poo-poo it because it's not the latest thing, right? It's not your Clubhouse invite, right? It's not the TikTok video that you're dancing through your store in. Those are all great. Those are all fun. Those are all helpful and informative too. But this is the kind of thing that will really make you stand out because too many people are not paying any attention to it. And those are opportunities for us. Anytime you can find something that is powerful and useful that people are not capitalizing on, you want to be all over that. Okay? Because that's your chance to shine. With everything else, you're there with everybody else. This is your chance to step up a little bit and say, hey, look what I got for you. Let me help you with this. And here are some ways I can do it. Let me give you these links to make your life easy. Okay? So that's what I have for you. I hope that you found that helpful. I hope that you will at least consider doing RSS feeds. It could just be as simple as going in and making sure that you're using that on your website. If you're not, A lot of these sites, like you could go in and change from whatever basic page type that you're using to a blog or any RSS feed type page without having to rebuild the whole page. Like you won't have to copy and paste or rebuild. Most of these engines now, we're at the point with the technology where if you change from page layout A to page layout B, mainly because you want the RSS feed functionality, it'll just take care of the rest of it. You want to go in and sanity check it and just make sure like no images have shifted too far or whatever. But 90% of the time, you'll be golden and you won't have to do anything more than save it and move on to your next project on your to-do list. For these other ones, like I said, Pinterest, Facebook, most of the sites do have something, like I said, Twitter, for whatever reason, stopped it, but whatever, maybe they'll bring it back. But you do have options like Zapier that will help you fill those gaps. So think about it, experiment, get it out there, see how it works for you. If nothing else, try using it for yourself. Like I said, Feedly, and again, I get nada. I get nada for telling you about this. I get nada for sharing it, other than I'm hoping that you find it helpful, and maybe you'll do this for me. But regardless, you go to feedly.com, you set up your account, you can set it up a bunch of different ways, whatever you're comfortable with. You go in and just start with a couple. Just go in, add a couple. It's just the plus sign over here. Remember, once you've got this built out, the reason, I do have a lot and I do need to go through it a little bit. But the reason I don't is because I can search through this. I can search through my entire RSS feed library here, all of these things I've got, if I'm looking for something specific, which is what I tend to do, like when I know that, hey, there's an internet outage, or hey, there's this really catastrophic bug that I've heard about, because this is my starting point for this kind of research, because when this stuff starts to happen, the people in the know start to talk about it, and I like to stay on top of that. So I go in and I do the search first to see who's talking about it, and you can filter this, however you want. You can limit it. You can go through the whole thing, but I do find that it is a very handy way to get that breaking news kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Well, while also just being able to flip in, and occasionally go and check on, pet stuff. That's an older one. Like there's a couple, some of them are pet owners. One in particular is something that's targeted actually to vets, but they have they speak well to us pet owners. They use language that we can understand. So I keep an eye on that for recalls and that type of thing. So for me, this is where I always start. This is where I spend most of my time when I am looking to consume, the latest information. And then sometimes, I'll dig deeper by going to their site just to see, what else is going on. But this is where I run my world, and it makes my life much easier. So I'm just going to check here. Check my notes, make sure I got everything to you. I think I did. Yes, okay. So I will go ahead. I will put all the links I talked about, all the things I showed you, I will put out in the descriptions. If you have any questions, comments, if you have a topic that you would like me to cover, please feel free to reach out. Just go to, yes, I got it right, yourtechcoach.net. Hit that form that conveniently popped up while we were looking at it. Let me know what your questions are. If you have a topic you want me to cover, all I ask is if you need fast answers, let me know that, and let me know how to get back in touch with you. All right? Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it. John, Laura, awesome to have you guys come and hang out. I'm glad you were out there chatting. And I will see you next week. I'm here every Thursday, 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. I hope everything is going well, and have a good weekend. We're close enough. Bye.